Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to look at the actual position, the seatbelt Kimura position, and why it's a strong position to start learning, and how the attacks can come off it. So basic setup. The basic position, what I'm looking at doing, I'm trying to be here. I want my arms locked around Scott's head. Okay? And the way I start this off a lot of the time is I go to a standard seatbelt. Okay, I'm just cupping over my hand, so I'm here. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for this top hand. And I grab it just inside his palm, okay, or the wrist is fine too. And then I'm going to lock onto my other hand. So, my hand is still hidden, so it's hard for him to control the choking arm, but I'm also in control of this top arm. And what this is going to allow me to do, it's going to allow me a lot of different attacks and a lot of different transitions. You know, for example, I can lean forwards, I can step over, and I can start to take the back. Or, you know, if Scott, I can transition my arm over, step, and then come to the Kimura position. You know? Or I can transition my arm over, step, switch to the armbar position. You know? Or if Scott decides to defend, I can transition to the head and arm position. So I can go here and transition. So it's a really strong, there's a lot of different options, and he's in a dangerous position. But the way I control this, again, this is all going to come from our control, and he will give me a lot of these different attacks. You know, by rolling away, he's going to expose his back. By rolling towards me, he's going to give up the arm triangle. If he stays still, then I can take the back, possibly the arm triangle, or the Kimura attacks as well. So the way that I control this is by using different pressures. I'll go to your side again for me. The first one, when I'm here, I'm thinking about squeezing all of this in tight. So I take my elbows, I close them back to my body. So I'm gripping, and I'm squeezing tight. Okay, so there's quite a lot of pressure on Scott. Okay, I'm not loose here, he can wiggle around. When I go here, I close this on, my head's nice and tight. Even here, he'll be feeling the pressure in his neck. Okay, so this is the first thing. The second thing is, I'm going to make sure that my head is down, okay, like ear to ear. A lot of Scott's escapes are going to come from his ability to turn. You know, if he can put his shoulders on the ground, he's going to be able to start escaping. If he can twist inside this grip, he's going to be able to start escaping. Okay, and I don't want these things to happen. So my primary goal is stopping that rotation. So firstly, I'm squeezing tight. Now I'm putting my head in nice and tight. By doing this, it stops Scott's ability to look left and right. Look to your left for me. Look to your right. So if he looks to the left, my arm's stopping him. If he looks to the right, my head's stopping him. Okay. My chin can be working as well. If he tries to roll away from me, my chin is pulling back against his shoulder. If he tries to turn towards me, my chest can push forwards to keep him tight. Okay, now, the other point that I'm using is I'm using my elbow on my thigh. Okay, not down low, this is kind of a little bit looser. When I go here, this makes it a lot tighter, and it allows me to lean, okay, which is going to expose the position of his hip. So when here, Scott's doing a good job at defending. When I go here and lean, now I've got this space to step my foot over, which is going to be really strong. And then the final controls that I'm using are this elbow. I'm using my elbow to stop him if he tries to roll away. I use my elbow and pull this back against the hip. Okay, so I'm using that, or again, if he tries to put his back flat on the ground, I can drive with my chest. Okay, really, really strong. And now the final thing to look at is my other leg. Okay, so all the way around. So when I'm here, a lot of the time I use my knee underneath his back. Okay, so it acts like a wedge. If Scott tries to put his back flat on the ground, my knee's already underneath it. Makes it a lot easier. It lets me control the position. If I know that he's attempting to run away from me, I set this up to his hip. Because when he turns, it gives me a ride, and it makes it very easy to drop this bottom hook in. Okay. So that's the basic controls of the position. I just want to say one more time. I'm here, arm around, hiding my choking hand, controlling his arm, pinching my elbows together. Good. Pulling my elbow up onto my thigh, my head's down tight, my knee's either under his back or here, and it's closed. Okay, and you squeeze. And in fact, it's a good idea just to get used to squeezing for a minute, as tight as you possibly can. And so you get used to being strong. Okay? It's a really simple thing. The other thing that we can